Well, hello there. Welcome back. It's Sunday. It's a football video. My name's Theo. I play middle linebacker for the Hailstorm Hurricanes. What am I doing in front of my whiteboard? Well, that's for later in this video. I'm basically going to go over like the basics of linebacker. And I feel like, I haven't drawn on this thing in a while. It was dusty. And it's just like, I need to get my brain in the mode of football. We haven't had it here because of lockdowns and curfews and all that jazz. So, and now that the NFL's been over, I've been like, whatever. So there's gonna be like three parts of this video. There's gonna be the first part, which is comment responses based around football on any of my videos, but they typically wind up on football videos. And then after that one will be a merch thing, more of a request or an idea. I have an idea and I will make them. But is this something anybody would want? Sort of the question. And then after that, at the end of the video, we'll go over this one. I'm going to put timestamps down so you can open up the description and be like, oh yeah, all I really care about is, basics O linebacker. Click that, thing will zip you to it. So, yeah. Hi. Okay, comments on the app. You still playing football? Yes. From Andre Fulmasang. Yes, I am still playing football. I just answer I answer most comments. Yeah, I am. It's just that everybody's in lockdown right now. I understand that Spain is doing some stuff and that people in the United States were still doing stuff, but the Netherlands is keeping a tight hold on things, but we still have professional soccer playing, but there's no baseball or anything like that. I mean, yeah. And American football is way down the list of popular sports around here. So there's more interest in the korfball clubs than there is American football. So that's fun. Sisu mouthguard and molding review. You did the mouthguard wrong. I guarantee you I did not, because I did that video and then Sisu saw that video, loved it, and wanted to use parts of it in their advertising campaign. And for that they paid. I had sponsored videos from Sisu about that many years ago. You did the mouthguard wrong? Yeah, I don't think so. It's for instance, Coca-Cola. You drank Coca-Cola wrong. This video was sponsored by Coca-Cola, and they signed off on it. Yeah. I had to ask in a weird, sarcastic way on the video, gay football player rates the hotness of all 32 NFL quarterbacks. I think he's gay. I'm like, you're being sarcastic because the title is gay football player and rating the sexiness of other males. Okay. Tim Young, continuous commenter. You should do football reaction videos at this point. Just grocery store adventures. Well, this is part of what I'm doing. Daily videos, my day is not consist much of every day on football. And I've tried to do reaction videos in the past to NFL or NCAA, and I get copyright strikes, and they're like, no, you can't use our stuff. And I'm like, I can't, reacting to a video, I could watch it, but you guys don't know the video I'm reacting to, so I could be like, do other people do it? Yes, but many people are reacting to clips they've sent in. I've requested it, but nobody sends me their highlights. Nobody sends me their clips from high school. So it's I can't really react to anything I don't have. I should go out and find it. That's just awkward. I'd rather find new things to react to rather than the same exact video everyone is reacting to. I mean, sure, I'll take the biggest hits in the NFL and make a Dutch soccer player react to it, or volleyball player, but yeah, I mean, certainly not, anything I can do. And then Isaac Rodriguez. Where'd you buy the whole uniform set? From the team. I think I may have gone over that comment again. Someone asked, what position does my teammate play? Oh, that was Tim Young. Aaron doesn't play football. He films, he goes to games, but yeah. Just between us, I make him film the sideline stuff so he doesn't sit in the stands and browse his phone. He's not a very good supporter. Okay, we're going on to the merch section. Last week's video says, what is good for linebackers? I didn't want to say what is best for linebackers because in that video I explained why I have the issue with best. But it also got me thinking that, you know, there are basic things everybody should know. Cool. In that video, I was wearing a Linebackers shirt. Now, it's in the laundry. And so that's what's weird about that is I can't find the website that I bought that from. To be fair, it's like a year old at this point. And Corona has knocked a lot of things offline, especially when it's a French company trying to sell American football clothing. So I'm thinking that same style clothing, and all it says is like Linebackers and gives 3 things and then like a little like stamp of branding. It's literally in the washer right now, or I would, like, this was not fully planned out on my part, but yes. I mean, there's definitely like shirts that say, you know, middle linebacker, multitasking, problem solving, will travel, requires coffee. Well, I mean, that's me, but there's generic shirts for this. I've seen this for a lot of different positions. Yeah. But I'm trying to, side note while I'm browsing to see if I can find the actual picture. The models for some of these linebacker shirts I found on Google Images are not linebackers. They are absolutely models. Yep, that actually sucks that I cannot actually find that shirt anymore. So I was thinking of just making like position stuff and putting it up on my Teespring, and like lowering the price so that, you know, they're not horrifically expensive. Because like Teespring sometimes gets a little bit weird on that one, but it'll be like linebacker, field general, or, you know, leader on the field, gives, doesn't, takes. And then some comical line after that, you know, because the general idea is you give the punishment, you don't take the punishment. Don't get gay with that, guys. But then, like, the last one would be like, you know, definitely makes the quarterback never want to spill out again. Sort of thing like that. That would be an outside linebacker, I guess, or a defensive end. Anyways, but that's just the generalized idea, and I could do it for the major positions. I'm not going to go all the way down to, like, you know, field goal kicker. That's, you know, something else. And they could just be jokey stuff. But like place kicker, benches more than the receivers, runs faster than the cornerbacks, gets more girls than the quarterback. Something like that. Just okay, so we're at the whiteboard section now. If you've seen my Football 101 videos before, then you'll understand this format. But as we're going to be basically like, what the heck is a linebacker? Like basic O linebacker sort of stuff. Not like outside linebacker, just O is in like the weird Irish way of saying it. Don't kill me, Sean Ferrick. Alright, so we're going to start with the line of scrimmage. And we're just going to go with generalized concepts because each defensive coach or linebacker coach in specifics has a bit different of what you want to do. So I'm not going to place down that you need to be at 4 yards. Maybe the coach wants the middle linebacker at 2 yards. Maybe he wants him at 6 yards. Maybe, depending on the play, you got to adjust which one you're going to be at. So we're just going to put in general locations. Okay, so as is all football things that I've seen, got a box, which is technically the football, but it's also the center. And then because of lineman spacings, we're going to have guard, and we're going to have tackle. And we have guard, and we have tackle. We're not going to worry about the whole tight end, yada yada. And just to get things out of the way, we're going to go with an E. We're going to go with an E. And since my team runs 4-3, I'm going to be doing that one. However, there are various other things. And so in this case, we're just going to put in ends, a nose tackle, and we'll just put that in, just for reasons. This is pretty much the very basic. So my position, put this in blue, would be middle linebacker, or the Mike. You would have the Sam and the Will. That's a weird W. It's because I'm that one. So this is your basic setup. In this one, these guys are considered outside linebackers, and that is considered a middle linebacker. The areas of coverage for like the field, this is quite basic. But the Sam would have here, the Mike would have here, and the Will would have here. Yeah, they don't touch. They're not necessarily intended, they're not supposed to necessarily overlap. They can a little bit, but I'm not that great with the drawing of circles. These are supposed to be like, but this is the idea that you line up, because the Sam would be, if there's a tight end over here, the Sam is also following the tight end and will have a run responsibility further outside. So in some cases, some coaches, and I've seen online, the ends will be called outside linebackers, and these are all just regular linebackers. It's a bit awkward, because then you're like, well, what about the guys that run into like the flats that are necessary, or they do the hook to curl or whatever, and it gets confusing. These, to me, if you're on the line, you're a lineman. If you're backing the line, you are a linebacker. And then if you're in the backfield, you're a defensive back. I mean, that's just how I call it. So that's what I'm going to be referencing. That's why I've changed color. Typical, like with this basic setup, your run responsibilities would be the Mike goes that way, the Will goes that way, and the Sam would probably grab anything over that way. Whereas in this case, the Sam would be a floater. But in case the end is all caught up by this guy and the guy runs out, you have that. It's pretty much that. Now, what does it take to be in these positions? Well, this one, these two, your outside linebackers, as I reference them, need to be able to cover a bit more. Because they're running after receivers. And so if the receiver's way out here and then runs straight up that way, the Will has to run up after them. Same thing with the tight end sitting right here and then runs up, comes across and goes up. If you're on man coverage, yeah, you're already further downfield, but you got to read what he's doing before anything. Mike, not so much. The thing with the Mike is you need to look, but it's almost like you need to see this. Because if the Sam is chasing off down the field, but then this receiver comes in and starts running across the middle, you got to see him coming in this way in case you have that middle responsibility. Okay, I had some eraser mistakes and now I have a weirder W over there. It looks super gay. I can't. Sorry, guys. Whatever. So, what are the generalized qualities that would make you good for one of these? Like I've said before, Sam will need to be able to cover more in, these areas. Whereas the Mike needs to be able to react and, to see where it needs to go. It's like you got to check the run, you've got to read your guards, you've got to read the quarterback, you got to make sure that nothing's coming in the middle, that the tight end doesn't come up and go like that. And like the thing is people are like, oh, well, Mike linebacker, you got to be like hefty and strong. Well, no, it helps. But the thing is you got to have eyes to look around and kind of be a little controlled ADD. Whereas these, yeah, they've got their run responsibility, but with the Mike, it's a lot of run responsibility. In fact, some coaches may even have the Mike right there, especially if their receivers are way more often to the outside. It's really hard because then the Sam can cover any tight ends. If you have double tight ends, these guys can one on them and you can make sure, and the Mike can almost be a fifth defensive lineman. This is if you ever hear anyone talk about a 5-2, this is kind of what they're talking about, where the mic comes down really close and almost works as another, like an A gap holder. So you'd have, you know, E, T, M, N, E sort of thing, and then you'd have that one open gap. And what does it take to... Now, some people have said, well, it's a will. Why? It was because technically this is the strong side of the ball and this is the weak side of the ball. That does not mean that person is weak. It just means that that's why we say will. So the will linebacker is usually, happens with many of our teams, they have a slot receiver out here, so the will has to bump out a little bit more, and everybody shifts over because the strong safety is also over there. This is a defensive. We should make that a different color because they're a different position. Okay, so this is part of like shifting. So the strong safety will take the Sam's place. The Sam's place will take the mic. The mic will take the will, and the will go out and basically be. It seems stupid, but this is actually one of the better ways that I've seen to be able to do this, is to have everyone just shift over, because it looks big, but it's just almost a single hop. You do a little like skip with your feet. You're not like going most of the way across the field. So if the will has to bump out to split the difference between the end, between the tackle and the slot receiver, then the mic is now on this thing. And this is why I said in the last video, you need to know your playbook. If you don't know to shift over when the will has to bounce out, and you stay here, then this hole is wide open. And if that running back decides he's gonna, because like the end comes in, so the end comes in, the tackle comes in, the nose comes in, so you've got all the linemen going in, and then you as a mic come running into your hole. This thing's open because there's nobody here. And yes, the Sam could in theory scrape along everything and come in, but that is an open hole and you can't have that on the line. To be fair, the nose could push him that way, but then this hole's open, then the mic would have to come and push that. It gets messy if you don't know what you're doing. So that's why I said that you should probably know your playbook and be able to react, because like I said, if he has to bounce out, you should have a call, and you should know that everybody needs to bounce out. Now this is like still laying along the lines of basic O linebacker. So we're not going to deal with like D-line stunts and what that does to everybody. But that was just basically the area of what kind of needs to happen and why I said what I said last video, is that you need to know your playbook. You need to know, and this goes along with the stunts, but I don't really want to get into that one today. These two are going not this way, but one thing over, then you need to know that your hole has also moved over here. You know, if they're stunting weak side, then you need to know that your hole is thus moving to the other side, to the other A gap. Otherwise, you're just going to run straight into your other tackle and the 3 tack or whatever. And that's just not going to be good. Because again, you didn't know your thing. To be fair, if you're good at reacting, you'll see that is suddenly there. But then this hole's open and the Sam needs to come in. So if you go to that hole, then you two are colliding and that hole's wide open. Because the general idea, I'm getting into it, is that he's sliding over here and trying to push him back in this way. So you see what I mean? And we can go over other like stuff later if this sort of video is good, and we can just generally chat about linebacker stuff, and I can answer questions with this board setup. Okay? It's if you want to see more, ask comments, ask questions. Yeah. Hit me up on Instagram direct, Twitter direct. Links are below to those things. You can ask questions there. We'll see you guys hopefully in the next video. I'll probably talk about stunting next week if I don't get any questions, just to get this ball rolling a little bit and all that jazz.